because of an ankle injury, and Dylan Harper left the game in the third quarter with a right hamstring injury. He's not the only person to leave the game last night. Jalen Williams, the wing from the Thunder, left the game yet again with a hamstring injury. Remember, he missed a bunch of games early on in the playoffs, so tons of injuries all over the place. But Oklahoma City has tied the series up at 1 game apiece. How? How did they do this last night? What was different, guys, last night for you versus game number 1 against San Antonio and Wemby?
They had a better plan in terms of keeping Wemby out of the paint, limiting his production, right? Isaiah Hartenstein playing 27 minutes. That was absolutely huge in terms of him frustrating Wemby, flustering Wemby. In game 1, Wemby had 26 points and was able to get a lot of more opportunities. They were able to extend possessions. I thought that mattered. And then the bench for OKC stepped up in a major way. In game 1, they only had 1 guy scoring in double figures in the bench. Last night, they had 4. And those guys making big shots when they went in. I thought that 6-point swing was huge in terms of allowing OKC to continue to control the complexion of the game. So I would say that the bench and the contribution of Isaiah Hartenstein was the biggest difference for the Thunder from game 1 to game 2.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that sentiment when it comes to the bench. You know, when we talk about Oklahoma City and their calling cards, we talk about the poise, the intelligence, but it's the depth. The depth for OKC is what has carried them through these past 2 seasons.
Guys, hold on. Wendy's here. I'm going to go open the door for him.
Wendy's here.
Hey, there we go.
Please let me stop talking. Wendy's here. Come on in.
Here we go.
Keep talking.
Okay, well, we're talking about the depth in the bench for Oklahoma City. They had a 57-25 advantage when it comes to bench points. 11 of the team's 14 steals for OKC. They converted 21 turnovers into 27 points, CC. Yeah. And that really was the difference in that game as far as I'm concerned. This is amazing.
This is
Hi,
great.
Wendy.
I'm just outside enjoying my morning.
There we go.
We'll enjoy it more when you're
Enjoy it and here with us.
Yeah.
I was talking about real estate.
Are you a big real
anything
estate guy?
No,
Oh. Any specific real estate, Wendy, that you were discussing?
New York.
Oh, okay. How expensive it is?
Well, you know, people probably don't know. Can I say that you used to live here for a minute or two?
Yeah.
Right? It was very expensive, and it still is very expensive.
It's ridiculous.
I'm very junior to him.
All right, switch seats. Switch seats with me.
I mean,
this is
are we
amazing.
live on air?
We're playing musical
We're live.
chairs.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I want you to be seated below me.
I want that too, Wendy.
We all want that, Wendy.
Can't see-
Wendy, how's
Put
your
your
chair?
chair down.
Comfortable? Are we feeling okay? Is it comfortable? We want to
This
make
is
sure you have a
better,
great
yes, thank you.
experience. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Can
Hi, Wendy.
I have an omelet?
I will seriously go get you an omelet if you want. You talking is better than anybody else on the NBA, so we'll ask you the same question. What was different last night?
Well, the big thing that they put Isaiah Hartenstein on to Victor. And, you know, I don't like talking about the refs. It's very, very fatiguing to me to talk about the refs involving Oklahoma City. It was almost like a rite of passage. Everybody who passed through Oklahoma City this year, would complain about the officiating, and then they would sign the wall. It was like an experience for the whole league. But the officials let Hartenstein play rough with Wembanyama. And frankly, that's playoff basketball. It's not controversial, okay? But them letting him do that was helpful. I mean, watch the highlights back today. It was a wrestling match down there. Mm-hmm. It was a wrestling match. I mean, and it's not just when Wembanyama has the ball. Every time, there would be a player driving to the basket or whatever, Wembanyama would grab. I'm not even saying it was illegal. I'm just saying the referees let them play physical with him, and that is how they have to play. And so I actually felt that their wings, they used Caruso and Jalen Williams and Lou Dort in game 1. Even though Wembanyama had a crazy stat line at the end, I thought they did an okay job. But their big adjustment was to go back to traditional big on big. And Holmgren was on him some too. But that made all the difference in the world. And, Victor's stats looked pretty good. He had 21 and 17. But the big difference, he had 10 baskets in the paint in game 1. 10. He had 3 last night. And so just those little margins make a huge difference. And so this is an unfair thing to say, but for the Spurs to win this series, especially if their guards are hurt now, because the injuries last night, really big going forward. Wembanyama might have to deliver these 30, 20-ish games to get through this series. And it's unfair, but that may be what we're headed for.
Wendy, is it fair to assume that the Dylan Harper injury is going to loom larger moving forward than what we saw
Oh, my
with
gosh.
J-Dub.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder have had extended periods of time without Jalen Williams this season. The San Antonio Spurs haven't had to deal with that with Dylan Harper. So I'm just asking, when it comes to which one of last night's injuries will be more impactful in terms of what we get from this series, is it fair to look at it and say Dylan Harper is the one that's the big one?
Yes, but I'm afraid, again, I hate to be talking about this. The MRI machine may be really big today because, I mean, I don't know for sure. Just to be clear, I am not reporting that they're getting MRIs. I've just been around for a minute or two.
Right.
When you have a soft tissue injury, you go to an MRI to see how bad it is. And probably Jalen Williams is going to be in an MRI today. And he's had 3 hamstring injuries this year, and that might be the 4th. It may not be. I hope it's not. Probably Dylan Harper is going to an MRI today, and they're going to look at it and see what we're dealing with here. And if it's not a good result, it's series changing. And I don't even know, but I was concerned about A.J. Mitchell at the very end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Holding his quad. It happened. You have most people who are listening right now were not awake, because you would not be awake watching this and then be awake right now. But right at the end of the game, A.J. Mitchell, who is the replacement for Jalen Williams, the reason the Thunder still won 60 games this year in large part was because A.J. Mitchell was so good. At the end of the game, he hurt his quad and was like rubbing it. Now, after the game, he said, "I'm fine. I just got hit there." With all due respect, I don't take him at his word. So, but you are correct that the Spurs with De'Aaron Fox, and Shams told us yesterday that ankle injury is a high ankle sprain on De'Aaron Fox.
So he's not definitely back for Game 3.
Well, with high ankle sprains, they're not predictable.
No.
A low ankle sprain, it swells up, you put ice on it, you treat it, and it gets a little bit better every day. Maybe it's 3 days, maybe it's 10 days. A high ankle sprain is completely unpredictable. And so that piece of information on Fox sat me back in my chair. And so you look, Stephon Castle, who is playing like a beast in this series.
He's balling.
He's got 20 turnovers in the 2 games. Okay, so he is probably not ready at this point in his career to be a every possession point guard, period. You put him against the Thunder, who are ball hawking monsters. Like, you can't go a foot on the court without them trying to slap at you. And it's just a recipe for turnover central. So the Spurs gave up 27 points off turnovers last night. And I'm not even saying, like, sometimes you watch a game, like whenever, like, frankly, James Harden recently, and you're just like, there's a couple of turnovers where you're like, what are you doing? It's not even the Castle is, like, being terrible. It's just that it's like a sophomore going up against a senior. Like, you need to be an expert ball handler to handle the Thunder, and he's not. And so what comes out of those MRIs today, I am sorry to say, those possible MRIs,
Yes.
is unfortunately going to be very, very important for the series.
Well, Wendy, you mentioned James Harden and the turnover. It's confounding that there's a player that is this talented and this up and down in the postseason. What would you do if you're Cleveland? What would you do with James Harden?
Well, the Cavs are quadrupling down. Like, I don't know if you heard what Kenny Atkinson said yesterday, but basically he was like, James did a good job. Our support defense, our second layer of defense, who, Jalen Brunson kept going around Harden. And I will say this, Brunson was awesome. 2 things can be true. Brunson can be awesome.
Yeah.
And the Cavs defensively can be problematic. But there were many possessions where Brunson just toasted Harden. And what Kenny Atkinson said yesterday is, number one, the Knicks made shots that they don't normally make. That wasn't his exact quote, but I'm summarizing it because he was talking about shot quality metrics, which I won't bore you with. He was basically saying, we have better numbers than you guys have in the media, and the analytics say that these stats they shouldn't have made all these shots.
That's the inner Daryl Morey that he's channeling?
Yes, and I mean, like, the Cavs are not the only ones who feel that way, but basically what he was saying is, don't believe your lying eyes. Harden actually did fine. And I agree in the vacuum that the Cavs' support defense, secondary defense, could have been better. But Harden has had just so many high turnover games this year. He had 6 more in Game 1. And he was, they can't go on letting him guard Brunson one-on-one. So, but Kenny was very, very supportive of James yesterday. And I get it, because he's a star player and you need star performances out of him. And it was only Game 1.
Can I ask you this, Wendy? Is Kenny Atkinson coaching for his job in this series?
Can we answer that coming up?
Sure.
You have more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because let's do that coming up.
Okay, cool.
That's a good
I'm
one.
gonna go have a mimosa and I'll be back.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wendy, if you want to go to brunch, we're down anytime.
Ryan Windhorst,
We
of course.
brunch well.
Yes, we
Collective
love it.
podcast, which, by the way, the most recent episode the other day, 4 voices, not 3.
That's true. Unexpected fourth voice.
We will tell you who that fourth voice was and get the answer to the Kenny Atkinson question coming up. A reminder with PayPal.